What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Out here nice and early today. Beautiful morning so far. I'm heading down, go take an exam for my job. Not quite making the moolah off of YouTube yet, so got to pay the bills somehow. If you guys want to support me and help with my dream, make sure to subscribe, like this video, drop a comment, tell me I'm a loser, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But anyway, gonna hit the road. Just gotta go fuel up. Best energy drink ever, in my opinion. Cheers. Forgot to mention, frame stiffeners or unibody stiffeners, whatever you want to call them, have officially been ordered for this Jeep. And finally stop talking about it and do some work to it. Fix a crack in the unibody, weld on some stiffeners so I can take this off-road, use it as a Jeep in the spring. My plan is to do extensive work on this all winter long. I wanted to do it last year, but my garage situation, storage situation for the Jeep didn't work out at all. Hopefully this year, I'm gonna have a much better spot where I can park the Jeep and work on it, fix the things that it needs. Obviously, if you guys know, when I bought the Jeep, it's always had this saggy headliner. That's a simple fix. I've just been putting it off too long. But the frame stiffeners have been ordered. Hopefully they'll show up quick. And I think that's the first thing that I'm going to do. Just have one of my buddies weld on front and left side stiffeners. Shout out to this guy for buying up all the Japanese trucks, all those mini trucks for sale. I think he only wants like $3 grand for him too. Okay, so you're probably thinking, why is this thing so slow? Well, if you look down in the bottom left corner, you'll see my air to fuel ratio on my dash. Well, above that is my throttle position. Keep an eye on that whenever I'm doing a pull, and you'll see that I'm only giving about 30 to 40% throttle max. I never give it more than 50, 60%. I can't because I have a boost cut issue right now, which has to do something with tuning. I'm still figuring that out. Go watch my other videos if you want to know more about that. That's why it sucks, and that's why these pulls aren't full throttle pulls. They don't really sound that great, although it's a lot more fun in person. Until we figure that out, those are the type of pulls that I'm going to include in the videos, because as you saw before that, if I stay on the throttle, that's when that backfire happens, which is boost cut. So we try to avoid that. So that's why I only keep it to about 4,000 RPMs, right under 9 pounds of boost. Usually 30% throttle, 40% throttle if I'm lucky. So yeah, back to the video. Well, it started out beautiful, but now it's all foggy. There goes the beautiful weather. This dude knows how to park. Okay, so title and thumbnail to this video. I've gone over this. Sorry about the wind. I don't know if you can hear me. I think I've gone over this a few times, but I've never really exactly explained how much it actually costs to 2JZ swap a Jeep, or really any car if you think about it. It's not really Jeep specific. So a lot of you guys were wondering how much it would cost to do a swap like this, and I'm going to try my best to break that down for you as well as I can. The biggest thing you got to remember about this build, it's a 2JZ GE VVTi engine, which basically means it wasn't designed to have a turbocharger on it. So this is considered an NAT build. So I'm gonna break that down for you a little bit, how much it costs. Maybe you guys can throw a 2JZ in your Jeep. Obviously, you gotta buy a 2JZ first. I think the best option you can go is maybe go on eBay or you can find one locally around you on the marketplace. You can pick them up pretty cheap. So those go for about $2,000. Right off the bat, you can get one for, you could probably find one cheaper too, but let's just call it $2,000. So you got yourself a 2JZ GE, VVTi, non-VVTi. The non-VVTi has stronger rods. So if you get the VVTi rod, just keep in mind you're gonna have to swap those rods out. So you got your 2JZ, and now you wanna put a turbo on it. Well, obviously you gotta buy a turbo kit. And a lot of these things range, so I'm just gonna go kind of like with the average price on what I have in here. So you get your 2JZ, you're gonna need a turbo, obviously, that's a given. And there's plenty of turbos you can choose for. So I went with about $2,000 price range for a decent turbo. Sizes vary, so keep that in mind. You also need an exhaust, downpipe, and a wastegate dump. If you guys know someone who does exhaust work, obviously this is going to save you a ton of money, but if you don't, it's going to cost you a little more. So you can pick up a good exhaust, probably a full exhaust, or have them custom made for you, anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500, using stainless steel, of course. On the turbo, you have a wastegate, and that's probably going to run you another $200-300. So you got your turbo, you got an exhaust, you got a downpipe, your wastegate. Moving on to intercooler piping. Intercooler piping, you can probably get for $500 on eBay, pretty cheap. All the couplings and everything too, miscellaneous stuff, factor around $500-600. You're also gonna need a blow-off valve. I think Tile or HKS is a pretty good brand. So those can range anywhere between $300 to $500. Although keep in mind, a lot of this stuff can get pricey too. When we're talking about eBay parts versus name brand, this could fluctuate a lot. I'm just trying to give you guys like a rough estimate and how much this would cost. Turbo manifold is also something you need, but let's just include that with the exhaust. So as I mentioned before, if you go with the 2JZ non-VVTi engine, I don't think you have to change the rods at all. It's probably good to upgrade them, but if you have a VVTi engine, you're gonna want to upgrade those rods. If you see them side by side, it's like your thumb and your pinky together. They're very, very different size. So the pistons itself, I don't think you necessarily have to change, but you want thicker rods if you're going to be pushing some boost. Those rods cost anywhere between $300 to $500. You want to get non-VVTi rods, they're probably a little cheaper, but if you want to get forged rods, they're going to be a little more expensive. Better quality, more money. Kind of common sense. Now you need a fuel management system, or an ECU. What I have under here, it's a Megasquirt 3 ECU. It's kind of old, it's kind of outdated, but it works. That was like $2,000. At the time, it was probably a little more. But right now, you can get like a Haltech standalone, probably around $2,000, same price, $2,500. I think those are actually a little more expensive, more like $3,000. So yeah, if you're seeing the pattern, it's not a cheap build at all. A lot of money goes into it. I'm not even including the AN fittings and braided lines, all the miscellaneous bolts, screws, and stuff you need. All right, so again, we got our 2JZ GE, non-VVTi or VVTi, about $2,000. We got a turbo manifold, downpipe, exhaust, wastegate, blow-off valve, intercooler piping, anything that has to do with attaching the intercooler, couplings, bolts, fuel management, plugs. You're gonna need a good set of plugs, injectors for sure, and also all the AN fittings. You're gonna wanna run good quality AN fittings and lines. Fuel lines, also AN fittings. Altogether, I'd say if you wanna start from scratch and you want to 2JZ swap your Jeep Cherokee or whatever vehicle, I would price a 2JZ NAT build anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000. Everything that I just listed was probably right about $10,000. I'm not counting labor as well. This is assuming that you have your own garage, your own tools, and you're gonna do everything yourself, which a lot of people do. Unfortunately, a lot of people, like me, I don't have a garage and tools to work on, so I end up paying a lot of people to do my work. So you're probably gonna add another $5,000 to $6,000 minimum for labor on top of that. And you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are sitting there laughing at, you know, this pricing, but when I say it varies, I mean it varies a lot. You could probably build a 2JZ GE for around $7,000 on the cheap end. If you want to do everything right, if you want to use quality parts and make sure that your build lasts, I would spend over $10,000 just on the engine. We're not even including the fabrication of the motor mounts, getting the Lexus IS300 bell housing, which adapts the AW4 to the 2JZ. Not really expensive, but you don't include those things, they just start adding up. I hope that helps for you guys. A lot of people ask me exactly what it takes, how much money it takes to swap a 2JZ in a Jeep. I usually just tell them, I don't know. I did buy this swapped, so that was a big plus for me. I got the whole Jeep and the build for less than it cost to build a 2JZ GE. I don't really want to talk about how much I paid for the entire Jeep, but just the engine alone, I got my money's worth for sure. Yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. If you got any comments, drop them down below. Let me know if I missed anything. Oh, and like always, drop a like, drop a comment, and make sure to subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.